Let's get you up to speed. Reports now coming in that moderate House Democrats in districts the president won now deeply worried that Democrats could lose control of the House. This is according to The Hill magazine. Why? If Bernie Sanders becomes the nominee. Now, the Democrat establishment is saying unite instead behind a moderate. Politico now reports what we've been warning for 2 years now. Nancy Pelosi now finally ordering Democrats, hey, stay away from impeachment, switch away from impeachment towards the economy. But Nancy Pelosi now says attack it as not strong as the president claims. Let's bring in former Trump 2016 campaign manager. Look who's here, Corey Lewandowski. Corey, great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Corey, first your reaction to this, to the president's budget going after the safety net and Roger Stone sentencing. Does this distract from the president's economic message?
Well, look, I don't think so. And what we're still learning the information about the Roger Stone sentencing. We're hearing that the decision was made prior to the president putting out any tweet about Roger Stone. And look, in full disclosure, I'm not a big Roger Stone fan, but the notion that this man is going to spend 9 years in a federal penitentiary for lying to Congress when we see others that we know have lied to Congress don't have that same penalty, I think is very unfair.
Okay, let's move on. The media headlines continue to pour in that the Democrats are really worried about beating the president. The Financial Times, Bernie Sanders' early strength worries Democrat leaders. The prospect of a nomination of the most anti-establishment presidential candidate since 1972. We have media reports from the likes of Politico. This could be the weakest slate of candidates since 1972. CNN commentator Van Jones says Democrats are depressed and sad. Your take on Nancy Pelosi meeting with House Democrats saying switch away from impeachment, talk about the economy, saying attack it, that it's weak under this president. Your reaction?
I think it's terrible messaging for the Democrats. Look, you know, everybody opens their 401k at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, see if they're doing better because of the policies of this administration. The Dow is up 275 today. So if Nancy wants to pin her hopes and dreams of remaining the speaker on the economy, we'll do that all day long because this president has created the best economy in a lifetime.
Breaking news, the Iowa Democrat Party chair, Troy Price, your reaction to this, Corey, he just resigned amid the caucus chaos. More disarray, it looks like. Go ahead.
Well, probably rightfully so. Look, I was out in Iowa. I gave a speech on behalf of the president out there at one of the caucus locations. And before I left, we had all of the votes tallied. It's not difficult to do. These are usually done on paper. It's always worked that way. There's usually about 100 people at a caucus location. And when you can't get this right, there should be accountability. The right decision for him to resign.
Roll call. I want to stay on Nancy Pelosi saying attack the economy. Roll call is reporting, though, that the House Democrats have not drafted a budget resolution this year. This says Nancy Pelosi is now saying attack the economy. Does that square?
Well, it doesn't square, obviously. And look, the Democrats have nothing to run on. They've been a do-nothing party now for the last year and a half that they've had the majority. So Nancy Pelosi decided to move forward with a partisan impeachment witch hunt, and it didn't pan out well. The president's numbers are better than ever. If she wants to pivot to the economy, we're happy to talk about the unemployment rate for African Americans and Hispanic Americans. They're at record lows. People recognize that, and they know it's because of the president.
Here's the next thing. Nevada, the next caucus. The huge Las Vegas Culinary Union. This is the 60,000 members who work in all the casinos there. They're saying to the casino workers, unite against Bernie's government takeover of health care. Corey, they put out a flyer warning that Sanders would kill their health coverage and more. That's the statement that we got from the Culinary Union. These are the casino workers, again, in Las Vegas. Also, other labor unions, Corey, oppose it. The International Association of Firefighters, flight attendants, AFL-CIO Richard Trumka, not in full support at all for a government takeover. This is a rust belt. These are the swing states, Corey. We have tracked it. They have higher health insurance coverage than the national average. These are the battleground states. Your reaction?
Well, look, it's very simple. If you want to be able to keep your health insurance, you should be able to. And that's what, Barack Obama said. We know it wasn't true. And this president has said, we're going to fix that problem. Now, Bernie Sanders believes that government-run health care is the solution. It's a $12 trillion problem. The people in Nevada know, those, excuse me, those workers know specifically, if Bernie Sanders is elected, they lose their health insurance and they lose their collective bargaining under it. They're not going to support Bernie. He has a real problem. And we're seeing the quote-unquote establishment of the Democratic Party trying to steal this election from Bernie Sanders because they know he can't beat Donald Trump.
And watch, we're going to track this because we've been on this story. We've been first out of the box on a lot of coverage. My team has been terrific. Watch for union protests against Bernie Sanders in Nevada. I want to get to this. Bernie Sanders now, Corey, is trying to say he is not for a government takeover, but we've got his legislation co-sponsored with Senator Warren. It would abolish not only private health insurance, it would defund and abolish Obamacare, Medicare, Medicaid, S-chip, ERISA benefits, federal employee health benefits, on and on and on. So, you know, your take on Bernie Sanders now being called on the carpet by the media saying, stop dodging questions, answer questions. Is Bernie Sanders' habit, his chronic habit, and we've seen it, we've reported on it, his habit of dodging questions, how will President Trump take that on if Sanders is a nominee?
Well, look, this election in 2020 is about, if this is going to be the Bernie Sanders-Donald Trump election, it's about capitalism versus socialism. Bernie Sanders is a self-avowed socialist. He honeymooned in the former USSR because that's what he believed in and still believes in. Look, Bernie Sanders is entitled to his core convictions, but the American people in the Rust Belt and across the Middle America don't support those convictions. They don't believe that free health insurance and free education for people who are in this country illegally is the right thing. This president has said, we're going to change the healthcare system, but we're going to do it, and you have the right to choose where that is. I think we should pass healthcare across state lines so that you can purchase it regardless of what state you live in to drive down those costs. The truth is, Bernie Sanders wants the government to run it. The government can't run anything very efficiently, and the American people don't agree with it.
You know, the cross-state line idea, it was in Obamacare. This president is pushing for that even further. Corey Lewandowski, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.